Welcome everyone, Resort here, and yes, that's my real name, and I do look like that. Welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. We're gonna do a lot of projects. I got a lot of ideas that I want to put out there, and I hope you like it. So let's start with my first project, which is the Offgrid Compound. Originally, I wanted to make another project, but the first three projects are connected, or they're related, and they're going to throughout a very specific goal. The first project was not supposed to be one. It was one of those nodes like this one of like, oh, I'm just going to buy this. Basically, like this actual node right now, it's like all of this extra supply, I'm just going to buy this. I'm not going to make anything, you know. It's just like a side node. It's the same thing as a backpack. It's like, you know, you buy your, what can I put in this? This is still ongoing. The whole thing is ongoing, by the way. Nothing is complete yet. And you know, I'm looking at resources and all sorts of other direction for potential ideas and stuff. But originally it was supposed to be like, I'm just gonna buy a wall tent, and I didn't plan to actually build this or even make a full-blown assembly out of this. That was not my intent. But when I start making a full-fledged map out of this, I realized, oh, there's actually a lot of things. Like, you just don't go, you know, in the wood like this without being fully prepared. So that's what I kind of came up with. At this point, it's still subject to change, but I think it's going pretty good. So like I said, I wasn't supposed to make this, but now that I made it, I'm kind of glad. Here's the full assembly. Of course, I'm gonna make videos next about each sub-assembly. So this one, the mini shed, the hothouse, sauna, wall tent, and I'm gonna make videos about this. But first, I want to talk about the criteria. What was I thinking about when I designed this project? So my first criteria was something that's compact, so nothing too excessive, although I'm gonna go crazy with the mind map as you saw the extra supply. But I want to have this thing, when I say compact, is like I want to be able to put this thing, actually it comes with the second criteria, which is having this thing being mobile. So having it compact and mobile. Compact meaning like I can put this inside of a, let's say, a pickup truck. It should be compact enough for you to be able to at least, get there. So no excessive weight, basically. That's why a lot of it relies on wood. Obviously, these barrels going to be a problem, and these sheets, corrugated roofing sheets, that might be a problem. But the other thing also is having this thing non-permanent, so no post on the ground or anything permanent, so no concrete or anything like that. The only thing I'm thinking about is perhaps you can bring in some concrete foots. That could be fine, I guess. Yeah, so mobile and non-permanent kind of fits. Compact, mobile, non-permanent. The other one thing is I rely a lot on this setup. So again, it's compact, it's mobile. You don't have to haul this behind a truck or whatever, like having a huge, these huge mill. I like the fact that it's compact, and I designed kind of make my own, but it's super cheap. It's about $100, and you can just cut your own slab. Everything needs to rely on this, basically. One of the criteria is because I use this apparatus very heavily, or I intend to use it very heavily. I went into a huge rabbit hole on YouTube about this. And no plywood, basically. Absolutely no plywood. Everything needs to be bored using this. I don't know if it's feasible, but I think, like, for what I saw, people know how to use that tool. You can make some pretty good boards. The other criteria that I was setting myself up with this project was like, you want to kind of be comfortable for an extended period of time, meaning like months, over a year, multi-year maybe, but you should be okay staying here for about a year. So 4 seasons, basically. And then you get your hygiene thing, and I had the picnic table just for comfort and stuff like that. So basically, if you want to download all of this, I set myself up with a nice little Patreon where you can download the version 1. It's not complete yet, but you certainly have access to. Let me show you the folder. So here's the folder. Blueprints coming in very soon. This is going to be in the drawing. This is basically, this is the full assembly. If you can run this, it's fine. You can just download the sub-assembly for each component. They're right there, and their parts are right there. I like to separate with a folder, and so usually this is the assembly, and I don't make a folder for assembly basically, but and after that what I do is I take the main assembly and then I export it in step, and as you can see it's 111 component. Then I save it as a CAD file. So this is actually a CAD file, FreeCAD I mean. So this way you get access. I got things that are not complete yet on this. The build guides, I'm waiting till I'm really confident. I still have things to do. For example, let me show you. Obviously, in the model, you're going to download the table saw, the chainsaw, and some of the parts are not there because, like the winch, I didn't model them. It's just to show like, hey, you're gonna buy a table saw, you're gonna cut your wood there. Hey, you're gonna buy yourself a winch. The other thing, the bell valve, like there's a valve here, like a 3/4 inch valve that you just buy, obviously. First of all, let's start with, so like I said, like the chainsaw mill. I kind of wing it basically. I have a so basically another thing I want to show you is like if you go here, sometime I leave these sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I leave these media folder with some photos and stuff. So I think I modeled it with this one. When I discovered this thing, I swear to God, I had to change it. Like, I didn't know you could do that. I was not interested with wood, like, period. But when I discovered this, I was like, oh man, this is kind of crazy because you can, you can cut the tree, you can cut the log, stabilize it, then cut it into slab, then you can process it. And after that, you can end up with, some pretty, of course you need to dry it, but if it's already dead, it's already dried, you're kind of good to go. And I mean, look at this. And this is $100 on Amazon. And you buy these big ass plate like this, 26 inch, I think. I mean, you're golden with this. And so I designed it with, instead of these bar, I used 1010. Yeah. So that's 1010. And this is 2-inch angle plate. This is 3/4 by 1.5. And this is 1 inch. Again, let me just show you around, like, so that is where you dry the wood, where you store your wood for your wood stove and stuff. But I made it into a water collector, and I got around. I informed myself, and apparently the Amish and a lot of other people use sort of corrugated steel roofing, including with the gutters, and everything is basically not stainless steel. It's steel galvanized. It's corrugated steel galvanized, and then you just test it for lead, and if there's no lead, you're all golden. The only thing, this is relatively easy to find. You just no surface additive or anything like that. It's just raw galvanized steel. But the gutters is hard to find. You need to find like a good supplier, I think, for this, because the gutters, they're all have like surface finish and stuff like that. They're all painted, and you can't use that because it will leach. So Anyways, that's for this. Obviously, you got your little setup here with the sawhorses and the tripod. The tripod, I find this guy on YouTube. I'm gonna show the video when I discuss about this. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna make individual video for each thing. But yeah, this guy was really no messing around and said, hey, here's how you do a tripod. This hygiene, hot house and the sauna, I just think it was necessary, but originally I didn't even include any of this, which is funny. The sauna even less, but I just copy it. It's the same sort of design, except the sauna's got an inside, and then you get the wood stove right there. All right, so that's the sauna, wood stove, same thing, except there's an inside. In this one, I don't know if I should show you that. There is no inside, so you see it's just the 2x4. You see the 2x4 here? That's the frame of the, and there's just the facade, which is board and batten. So that's it. That's for the hot house, the sauna. Fairly easy design. All right, so the wall tent, well, that's what started all of this. Basically, long story short, like I said, I was planning to just buy the whole thing. And when I check out the price for the tent, I was like, it's actually maybe, we'll see, but it's probably more economical to make it than to just buy it, because a tent's big like this, they sell it for $2,000. So I think I can do better. I think I can make it for less than $1,000. No doubt about it. Also, the other thing is, like, the whole frame is 2x4, right? So, and that's the thing with this project. Everything is 2x4. There's only 3 types of wood, which is, everything is dimensional. And the reason is like you can buy it also as well. So if you come into your place, let's say you got access to a road and you can get it delivered there, you can use dimensional, and it's everything, all the blueprint will all be 1.5 by 2.5, 1.5 by 3.5. The only thing is, I don't know if you can make reliable dimensional cut with that kind of tool. So if you know a lot about chainsaw milling, tell me if like it's a realistic position. Can you do these 1.5, or maybe you're gonna be a 1 3/4, and then you're gonna plane it. I didn't include the planer or the table saw. Obviously, I can make a table saw, but a lot of this is representative. I rely more on the mind map personally, except for the stuff that needs to be built, like basically everything in this. Like what kind of tool do we need for this? I put them all here. Table saw, planer, it's optional, but I hear you can also do joining with a table saw. You can kind of set it up like this. Coming back to this, where I'm at right now, and the reason why I'm not making any blueprint for now is the fastener. So I would like to have one type of fastener. So what I choose, the number fastener is simple. So number 8, 2.5, and then for the facade here, number 8, 1.5. I want to choose screws. Kind of show you an idea here. I get here, like, you can buy this big ass box like this. I saw this. This is 8 by 3, but you can buy like 8 by 2.5, like 1,500. And these are deck screws, like these are like for outside use. And that's what I have in mind. Like just $60 for, I don't know, man. For now, I'm going to go review the structures of everything. Then I'm going to do like I did with this table and just had all the fasteners, and pretty much going to call it quit for this and move on to the other map. I have other projects. So I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible. But yeah, 3/4 inch bolt here also for the sawhorses. So basically 3/4 inch bolt. number 8 for the 2x4, 2.5. And for the facade here, number 8, 1.5. And perhaps some brad nails for this. So the facade is 1x4 and 1x2. So 1x4, 1x2. And you see I left a little gap here. Again, that's where I'm at right now. I hesitate to put all the fasteners, and I didn't model them either. I want them slick like this, so not to add more. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to we wouldn't be able to open the assembly because it started to get packed up really good. I'm gonna do this first. That's what I'm aiming for now. I'm gonna finish this. I know maybe it's not a good idea to put the board like this directly on the ground because the water gets in, and so I'm thinking about that. Maybe I'm gonna put a board there. Maybe I'm gonna add a board there. And you're probably like, why don't you just put it on top of that? And that's what I'm thinking about. But the thing is like, that's going to change the entire roof. Yeah, sometimes you do something and you realize, oh no, I'm going to have to redo the whole roof. Anyways, so that's for this. It's pretty quick, by the way, the fastener. I use linear pattern for this. So it may looks like I put all of them, but I actually put one and then I linear pattern 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes pretty quick. Yeah, this is finished. I can make a blueprint. Other than that, like I said, I want the whole project to be able to be built dimensionally with the chainsaw mill. Yeah, so there's basically a ruler here, and you can make your cut fairly precise enough. So if you, let's say, have a planer, you can broad it down. I'm thinking that you could do that 1.5 inch cut, or like 1 3/4. I think it might be possible, but of course it's not high precision. I understand that, but my thinking is like, with perhaps some extra step with the table saw, and perhaps if you had the planer into this, you might be able to get as close. And of course, I'm thinking if you do this in the field, you'll be able to still use the blueprint for this, still use the measurement, and you still have like a good result. Maybe. I don't know. Look, everything I do is in 3D, so I've yet to do the real thing, That's why I put the disclaimer also, like, I would like it, and I make it as simple as I can possibly do, And this thing is brilliant, man. Like, to have this thing, you saw it in the photo, you can put it in a box like this, and it's just, you can cut these massive, like, this is, I don't know, man, this is 15 plus feet. Well, actually, that might be 9 feet, to be honest, because you can only, the rail is 9 feet. Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, man, this is brilliant. I made it basically the cornerstone of the whole project. I don't know if it's a good idea. Tell me what you think, but I like the fact that you can do everything. You can cut the tree as it is with the chainsaw, get rid of all the branch, clear everything out. Well, first you can clear the area around the tree first with that, and then you can cut the tree with that, and then you clear the branch with that, and then you cut the logs with that, and then you cut it into into slab, and then you just do the table saw thing in the planer, and perhaps you end up with a what might look like a fairly reasonable 2x4. And then the other thing is the canning thing, the whole food situation. Originally, again, it's one of those things. It happens a lot, believe it or not. I put it in my mind map. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to discuss about food. I'm gonna put this in the compound and stuff, and it just became too big. It became its own map. Let me show you. So this is a pantry, and you get access to it also in the folder. If I can show you. Yeah, it's right there. Boom. These are the two maps. I've been into a rabbit hole again, YouTube rabbit hole, about this. I didn't even know about canning. Originally, again, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go buy some can. I'm going to go buy these boxes of canning. But then I start YouTubing this. It's like, hey, can you, can you can, like, I don't know, what can you can? Can you DIY can? And the next thing you know, you just pressure canner and equipment. And I saw a lot of people, for example, in Alaska, like they were fishing huge salmon and they were canning all of this for years to come. And I was like, this is kind of brilliant. Like, this is how you preserve food for a long term. I'm glad that I find this. But yeah, so on top of this, I never heard about this meal in a jar thing, which is fantastic. And basically, you can kind of pre-cook your meat and pre-season it and even put some vegetable in it so it's all ready to go. It's sort of pre-prepared. So I know about canning. I knew about canning, of course, but I never pay attention to it. For me, I was like, this is actually perfect. This is perfect for what I want to do. I mean, if you go in the wild for an extended period of time, you want to be able to have a lot of food, a lot of protein. This is an all-in-one solution. You get your vegetable, you get your protein, and then you maybe made a rice or you make pasta with this and you mix with that. So this is brilliant. Spaghetti sauce, classic salsa. I put like a disclaimer there. Everything is like, some of this has been made by some of this recipe has been made by that YouTube channel there. But there's other thing. I add everything I see. When I see a new video, I just some of the recipe also I modified a little bit. So, but that's what I accumulated since then. And the equipment also, I might have gone a little too far there, but I think there's not too much excess, but there's a lot for sure. The other thing for the canning is I want it. This is literally my canner. I just bought this recently at $200, and I was wondering, this is aluminum, but I was wondering if I can use this with a fire, like if I can use it on location. So I find a little fire pit like this, portable fire pit, and it was really small, so I enlarged it to fit my this is the actual dimension of a 22 quart Tefal pressure canner. Yeah, it looks good. I put a plate there to protect it. As you can see, the grill is very spaced out, but I don't know if it's gonna create. I don't know if I can even do that. But all I know is my manual says I can do propane burners, but I can't do these big propane deep fryer burner. So what I did is I added a plate there so that the fire would kind of protect the bottom, and I might even extend this thing here, like, and put it here, but I don't know. Anyways, the other thing is this is actually also my cooler that I have at home, and I was just curious, how much can I put this? These are 32 ounce, your typical 32 ounce mason jar, and the idea here was like, you want to protect your lid. You don't want it to depressurize. You don't want it to pop out. So I was thinking, where do you put this safely without it to freeze? My thinking is that, well, you put it in the cooler and then you leave it in your car. That's what I'm thinking about. And that's, I think, how you protect it from the fauna. And I think that's the only place you can really do it. I don't know what my cooler is actually, but these are the real dimension that I pick up for my cooler. And I can put 18, but I can put 2 in a row, and you can't really put anything on the lid. So, but maybe I can put a double bottom with a thin sheet of, like, I don't know, some plywood or something to make it spaced out so it wouldn't touch. And then you put some columns, some wood stick, I guess. But yeah, 32 ounce. It's a lot of food. I mean, tell me how much how long do you think, if, let's say the whole thing is filled with like spaghetti sauce, tacos, stew and soups and whatnot, you can vegetables, and I mean, how long do you think you'll be able to eat everything that's inside? Of course, the other thing I was thinking about is like, maybe I can put these large 64 ounce dry canning, like just put some flowers in there and put them horizontally, as long as it doesn't touch the lid, and you get like you double bottom. So I think I can, like you have like 1 full of pasta, one full of flour, one full of rice, one full of whatever, like some mashed potato thing. Actually, let me show you something. I put it in there. Like, do you see the dry canning thing? That's another thing that I discovered was pretty good. Was like, I think I watched a video. Did I put the link? I've watched a video, and these guys made they made a list of everything that can be dry can, and I just name everything like this potato paste thing, mashed potatoes and coffee, and they were testing it. So that was interesting. I put it all in the list. That's what I mean by dry canning. But basically, you put it in the oven, and then the lid's gonna pressurize that way. So that's interesting. And the idea is like you can come in with like maybe 4 or 5 of these cooler. You leave 3. You leave, let's say, 3 in a car, and you put this in your tent. I'm gonna design a nice little shelf for this, and yeah, the tent also have the wood stove. I decided to put, I don't know why they do this. The wall tent put the wood stove on the roof. Why would you put a hole in the roof? I just don't understand that. It's like, if I design it, there's not going to be a hole in my roof, you know? So that's where I'm going with this. And that's pretty much it. That's where I'm at. This version 1, again, there's a lot to it, and I'm going to keep going. Even if I still going to revisit the project. I want to move on relatively quickly. I want to kind of finish this quickly to move on to the other project, which is almost half finished. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to make this series of videos now for each component, and possibly even mess around with the but I'm going to wait till I hear about what people have to say about the fasteners and everything. Structural also. Yeah, so we're going to try to push this as fast as possible. I think there's, it's not complete, but it's certainly on its way. The tent is, I think I'm going to keep it for last because it's going to be sewing, and it might be a little complex, but yeah. So again, this is all educational only and yada, 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 Do not do this at home. And that's going to be it for me. Please share this video if you think someone you know might be interested in this. Comment, give me a like, give me a sub. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to check out my Patreon if you want to have access to all the models, all the technical stuff. And you get yourself a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.